Greetings and welcome to another impressions video here at Words About Games, and today we're going to be looking at the Sojourn. The Sojourn is a relaxing first-person puzzle game about light, darkness, and the nature of reality, where you'll need to follow the light and solve puzzles to banish the darkness in a world with its own laws of physics, slowly uncovering its history as you release more light into it. The first thing I actually want to mention about the Sojourn was how fantastic the world is. I know I should probably be talking about puzzles and gameplay mechanics, but literally the first thing that sticks in my head when I think about it, and the first thing I noticed when I started playing, was how gorgeous and relaxing the Sojourn's world is. After you emerge from the starting area out into the game's first open area, which is also its first puzzle area, I was struck by how pretty the scenery is. You're making your way through a world seemingly long abandoned and falling apart, a world which rebuilds itself before you as you progress from area to area. And in those first moments of exploration, I really enjoyed taking in the scenery and imagining the kind of place this was when it was alive with people. It's also an incredibly chilled atmosphere. Thanks again to the art style, the relative quiet, and the relaxing soundtrack that occasionally hums in the background as you solve puzzles. And while the Sojourn is always a very relaxing experience, the wonder unfortunately doesn't last, as you move from one section of the game to the next and realise that all the levels are pulling from the same art style. While each new section of the game briefly recaptures this feeling, it dissipates quickly when you're being transported to places you feel like you've already visited before. Thankfully, the same can't be said for the puzzles themselves. Much like the world you're exploring, the puzzles you encounter in the Sojourn are chilled and lack a sense of urgency, allowing you to approach them in your own way and at your own pace. While difficulty in puzzle games is subjective, I found that the Sojourn's puzzles weren't too challenging for the most part. The most difficult of the puzzles I encountered I'd classify as brain teasers, enough to get me to stop and think, but not enough to actually see me stuck for any significant length of time, which for me is basically the sweet spot as far as puzzle games go. It wasn't so easy that I was breezing through levels, nor so difficult that my progress ground to a halt, which gets a thumbs up from me. However, if you're looking for something with more hardcore puzzles, this might not be the game for you. Puzzles are built around statues that you'll find in each level. Different statues will allow you to do different things when you activate them, such as swap places with them or play music that can temporarily rebuild platforms for you to cross. You can only activate statues when you've crossed over into the Dark World, which you can do by stepping on special platforms, and it only lasts a certain number of steps, though later puzzles do have other ways for you to cross over. The Sojourn adds new mechanics by way of new statues, giving you more intricate puzzles as you make progress. It's done at a decent pace, making you feel like your options for solving puzzles are evolving pretty consistently. It also makes for a fairly satisfying gameplay loop. Each time a new type of statue is introduced, you're given a level or two to get to grips with what it does and how it works, before the game puts you into levels combining it with all the other statues you've previously encountered. And even though there's generally only one way to solve a puzzle, the suite of options available leave a lot of room for experimentation. The best of these puzzles start coming a little ways into the game, when certain levels offer additional optional challenges. By completing certain levels, you can leave and move on, or stick around to complete a second puzzle for an additional reward. While the reward isn't anything special, just some philosophical musings written on a scroll, these puzzles are really well designed and amongst the most satisfying to complete in the entire game. They build a second puzzle on top of what you already solved, adding new paths and statues to increase the complexity, essentially remixing the puzzle you just solved into something a bit more demanding. Plus, they're totally optional to complete, so if you decide you'd rather just move on, you absolutely can with no real punishment or penalty. Although I'd advise you to stick around, because it's usually here where you'll find the Sojourn's best moments. The Sojourn doesn't break the mold as far as the genre goes, and anyone looking for something to really test their puzzle-solving skills might find it lacking, but this is a really neat game. I dug its chilled-out vibes, its fantastic art style, and the way it builds its puzzles around an exponentially increasing suite of mechanics that, for me, hit the sweet spot as far as its difficulty went. If you're after a relaxing afternoon or two of puzzle-solving goodness, you might be well served taking a look at the Sojourn. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please leave us a comment, like, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've got tons of awesome videos coming every week, including review impressions, indie game of the week, debate-driven top 5 lists, video essays, and our weekly podcast where we discuss games, gaming culture, and the games industry. We also stream 3 times a week at twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames. But most importantly, have a fantastic day.